I suppose this would be the spot where some people would jump in with, gratuitous shoe takes and that sort of stuff. However, allow me to introduce an anti shoe take, which I suppose is still a shoe take, and say that these qualifiers and those on the cusp, of which there are a few, have elevated themselves and trained to the point where they are faster than the international standard, and that is something worth celebrating and certainly worthy of Story of the Year. From Terminal Mile headquarters located in Westdale, Ontario, this is the Terminal Mile Animated Edition. And joining me today from the Dundas Old Folks and Old at Heart Folks home is Paul Rokas, and we're going to take a look at 2020, the year that was in distance running. But first, this episode is brought to you by the Terminal Mile Trading Cards. Relive all the 2020 episodes with a limited run pack of unique trading cards featuring our esteemed guests. No purchase necessary. Enter our daily contest for your chance to win these super cool cards. And to see the rad designs, follow us on Instagram at the Terminal Mile. All right, so 2020 was a bit of a dud year for racing. Or was it? Sure, the international pandemic wiped out racing worldwide, but there were still some real take-home running stories that we can talk about. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. On the block today, what was the biggest running story of the year? I'm joined by Brother Paul, and we're going to be bringing forward our ideas as to what the distance running story of the year was in Canada. Here's a few rules. Each person gets 2 minutes to make a strong argument for the story that they're going to present, and then we'll discuss their case afterwards. So, Paul, we'll start with this. How do you think the year was for running stories? Was it difficult to find the running stories that you ultimately came up with?
Yeah, I think 2020 was an interesting year because I think there weren't a lot of races. But the thing, when those opportunities came up to race, just between, athletes time trialing or other races that came up, I think that athletes really showed up this year and ran fast, and it kind of made every race opportunity, every weekend there'd be time trials and stuff like that, and they'd be exciting to watch. So I mean, maybe a little bit less races to pick from or stories to pick from this year, but I definitely think there were fewer, but they were higher quality. Put it that way, faster times, and you just never knew what was going to happen weekend to weekend.
I think that's probably the last thing that we're going to agree upon today, because we are going to be pitting our stories against each other for distance running story of the year dominance. And I understand that you're bringing 3 really, really good stories to the table. So with that, I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. You will have 2 minutes to make your case for your first story of contention. So I'm going to start the clock right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so my first headline of 2020 is Houston setting the tone. We're going way back to second week of the year. I think, still this was the first major race of 2020, and I think it's a hard act to follow. Number one, the biggest story out of this is Malindi Elmore and setting a new Canadian marathon record of 2:24:50 and qualifying for the Olympics. That's her second marathon ever, and it's a PB from her old PB of 2:32:15. At the time when it happened, I wouldn't say it was completely out of nowhere, but I think a lot of people were surprised of how fast it was, and I think it really set the tone just for the great road running that we saw for the rest of the year in 2020. I can't talk about the Houston Marathon without mentioning the half, of course. Every year that race is always loaded, and Canadians go and run fast, and this year was no exception. On the men's side, you got Rory Linkletter running the second fastest Canadian time ever. And then you also have Natasha Wodak being the first Canadian woman under 70 minutes with a time of 109.41 and a new Canadian record at the time, which would be broken shortly after.
Okay, 3 seconds
you'll
left.
Talk about that later. And yeah, as always, it was a great day for Canadians and kind of set the tone.
All right,
that was how road races would go.
That was time there, and that's a pretty strong case, for Houston. Man, Houston is just one of those races that just constantly delivers year after year. It's one of those. It's one of those magical places. It reminds me of, a chat that I've had with Reed Coolsat, and I know that you have as well too, where, he says all of his PBs kind of came in the right place, running the 1500, or maybe it was his 5000 in Belgium, running one of his PBs at Peyton Jordan.
Yep.
Houston's just one of those places, and the fact that Malindi Elmore was able to crank out a fast marathon time there, you're right, it does set the tone for the rest of the year. I think that's probably a pretty strong and pretty safe take, if I can say that.
Yeah, I thought so myself too. I mean, I should mention Natasha Wodak, being the first Canadian woman to break 70 there. Fun fact, her time of 109.41, that was actually the same time as my half marathon debut in 2016. I also ran a 109.41. I think she would have gotten me at the line because her time is 109.41 flat and mine's 109.41.5, but then a second.
Fair enough. Just in case that head-to-head race ever does come, I guess we'll see.
I'll be here in Dundas getting ready.
All right. The challenge has been put out there, Natasha Wodak, if you are listening, as you might be getting ready to go to your Olympics. There is a scrub in Dundas who's getting ready to race you in the half marathon. Fair take. Well, I think with that, I'm going to unroll my very first argument for a case that I feel deserves the story of the year. So I'll set the timer, and I will begin it right now. All right, it was the Dust Bowl duel, the Desert Storm. Yes, of course, my first pick for distance story of the year was the Marathon Project. It happened December 20th in Arizona, not too long ago. And, speaking of deserts, it really happened within a desert of, there wasn't a whole lot of races going on. So it was really all eyes on this. As you mentioned, not a whole lot of quantity as far as races go, but this thing right here brought the quality. There's a few Canadian highlights that you could definitely take away from it, whether it be Justin Kent making a strong debut in 2:17 or Rory Linkletter chopping some time off of his marathon PB. It was really Natasha Wodak, who you just mentioned, and Ben Preisner who really took the cake here. Both nabbed qualifying times for the Olympics, Preisner in 2:10.17 and Wodak in 2:26.19, but it was the implications for how that team will be selected that is probably even more fascinating and the more exciting story. Both Preisner and Wodak have the second fastest qualifying times clocked so far, and both came in their second shots at the event. Wodak's time is now entered into a field of 4 people with standard, and Preisner joins 2 others with standard. And what that means is that we will be sending a full marathon team to Tokyo, and to me, that is just huge. I suppose this would be the spot where some people would jump in with, gratuitous shoe takes and that sort of stuff. However, allow me to introduce an anti-shoe take which I suppose is still a shoe take, and say that these qualifiers and those on the cusp, of which there are a few, have elevated themselves and trained to the point where they are faster than the international standard, and that is something worth celebrating and certainly worthy of Story of the Year. And that is 2 minutes right there. What did you think of the marathon project, and what did you think of the overall implications of that? Do you think it deserves Story of the Year?
Oh, it's definitely up there. I mean, I think, just the fact that we had two Canadians qualify for, and just kind of, round out 2020 marathon season. With the fact that we're going to be sending a full marathon team to the Tokyo Olympics it's just crazy. If you think about a few years back, that would have been, kind of unthinkable. I don't even think, even when they said, the new standard this year, it's 2:11:30, I believe, for the men's. I mean, I remember when that came out, it was kind of like, oh yeah, like Canada's not going to send a full team on the men's side. Now you're looking at it, and I mean, you didn't mention Cam Levins, but I mean, like right now, the way the teams stand, Cam Levins would not be on the Tokyo team.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys on the cusp, though, that I think you'd have to be foolish to think that he's not going to try again, and that's not within his wheelhouse to knock out Tristan, or to knock out Preisner either.
Oh, for sure. I think before Tokyo, we could have obviously we could have four men within the qualifying window for 3 spots, which will be really exciting to see who goes to Tokyo.
Well, I mean, not just 4, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of other people as well too. You look at someone like Reed Coulsat, who's made 2 Olympic teams up to this point. He knows the distance really well. He's now in the super shoes as well too. And I don't want to get into the shoe takes as I mentioned before, but he's talking about how they are making a difference for him and stuff as well too. So we could have 5. I can think of a few other guys who might be on that cusp, who are within that range, kind of like Preisner was, where we could maybe have 5 guys, maybe even 6 guys, potentially looking at qualifying times, which is pretty crazy. Further to that shoe take point, and I'll get your thoughts on the shoe takes in just a second, but I mean, look at one of those qualifiers. You look at Lindsay Tessier, who doesn't have the time qualifier, but has the championship qualifier. And, that's not based on shoe at all. Everyone's working with the same playing field when you do head-to-head racing. And, I think the women who are ahead of her right now, a few of them I think have beaten her head-to-head. So, I mean, for what that's worth, it's just a crazy time, and it's really, really cool to see. What do you think of the shoe takes?
I think definitely there is something to the shoe take, but I think 2020 was a year that showed that I think the shoe take got old in 2020, and what I mean by that is there are brands have stepped up. I think you can go to multiple brands now and get their super shoes or whatever, and I think at the end of the day, you're right. It's a lot more even field. It's not like 2016, right, when the Vaporflies first came out. I don't know. Maybe we're diving a little bit too deep into the shoe take now, but no, I definitely think a marathon project, I think it was so much more than just the shoes on why people ran fast. I like I mentioned in the intro, I think everybody just kind of picked a date. They showed up. They were ready to run fast, and they set up the race to do that. Fast course, good pacers, good group of guys, and I think honestly that matters more than the shoes when it comes down to it.
Oh,
They showed up on the day and they performed.
and not only that, but like the whole community aspect of it, how it was really set up, for runners, and you mentioned there the fast course, how the men's race ended up shaking out with that big duel at the end, or whether it be Sarah Hall's record attempt. There's just so many good storylines going into it as well too. We're obviously focusing on the Canadian aspect of things. However, I think it's a strong contention for story of the year. All right, with that, I will reset the clock, and when you are ready with your second story of the year, we'll hit start. So you're on the board.
Well, this story of the year may be a dark horse story of the year, but this individual certainly is not. Uh, Headline, I guess, is the unofficial 2020 U Sport XC champ, Kieran Lum. And, he's kind of been in the background, you could say, but he's had a really solid year. He started out earlier this year in February at the BU Valentine Invite with that U23 Canadian 3000 record indoors, 7:45.5. Is fourth fastest Canadian indoor 3K of all time overall, not just age group. And I mean, from there, like that race, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that race, but that was a crazy race and a crazy fast guy. I mean, this guy at UBC and running 7:45. I'm not sure. I mean, Justin Knight has run around that time when he was in at Syracuse, but I don't think anybody's come close to that well being at least in the U Sport. And then from there, I mean, this fall, if you look at what he did when he should have been racing U Sport cross country, he went and ran a couple time trials with the BC boys, 28:17, 10,000 in end of November. That was pretty quick, second fastest U23 10,000 ever to Mohamed.
All right, 5 seconds left.
I got to round this up. Just to round this up quick, I don't think there's anybody in U Sports who could touch him, and as a result, I'm declaring him 2020 U Sport.
The hot take comes at the end. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, on a flat surface, he comes through, and this is where throw a shout out to the vintage tracky boards at this point. But this is where you'd have so many anonymous people breathing down your neck right now, saying that track times do not equal cross country times. To those non-existent people, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, he won last year. And, I'm like I said, I'm probably going to take some, I figure I'll probably get some heat for this one, but I don't think there's anybody is there anybody else you think who could run, like, yeah, I know 28:17 is on a track, but, I mean, you put that on a course like Kingston, I'm not sure where U Sports was supposed to be this year, but put it on a course like that, and I mean, I don't think it slows down that much. Kingston's a pretty quick course.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and just looking at his times, I remember watching one of the Saturday Night Live series races, the 5,000, where he ran a 13:43 That was pretty wild. It was just him, Luc Brichet, and John Gay just keying off each other for the entire thing. He ended up running in with John, and wow, that was just a super super strong performance. Really really cool thing to watch as well too. I mean, a 13:43, still not Olympic standard, still not
Yeah.
even all that close to it, but just it looks so so good. Moving forward. Even that 28:17 was so cool to watch as well too, with the same guys crossing the line at the same time. It's a hot take, but I don't think it's third degree burns hot take here. It's I think it's a good take. I think it's a good take.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty safe hot take if there's such thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, with that, I will reset the clock, and I will go for my final contribution for story of the year. And with that, I will start the clock right now. Okay, so this one was pretty low key, and it almost seems like it was forever ago now. But way back at the beginning of the year, Andrew Sakafian ran a 69:38 half marathon at the Kagawa Moon Game half in Japan. Now, she broke the Canadian half marathon record as well as the 20K record in 66:05. I think is worthy of consideration not just because it shaved a few seconds off the old record, but because that record was set just a few weeks before by Natasha Wodak, as you mentioned, at the Houston half. Now, even more amazing was the record that Natasha Wodak broke was not even that old either. It was a couple weeks old as well, too, set by Rachel Cliff, who ran, not that much slower than that either. So the half marathon, admittedly, not the highest prestige or the best stature as far as events go, but to me, it's a real litmus test of where we are at as far as distance running goes within the country. And I'd say with all those changing hands, while there was still a lot of racing happening on the roads, I think distance running in Canada right now, especially on the women's side, looks pretty good. So that is why I'm bringing that forward as a story of the year. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think it's definitely a strong case for story of the year, and I think any other year it could probably win. It's weird. 2020 has been weird. It feels like that was so long ago, and there have been so many good results since then. But I mean that time is crazy to think about. I mean, just before that, like I said, to think that we have currently active, there are three, if you include Rachel Cliff, fastest Canadian half marathon runners. And they've all run times within approximately the last year, 1 year ago, basically. That's kind of crazy. Really exciting battle, I think, going into Tokyo. We'll see this spring. I think more fast times will come, and I know they don't focus on the half, but maybe that time will come down more.
Admittedly, looking back, maybe it is not story of the year, but I think it's one that definitely deserves a little more highlight. I feel like with Andrew Sakafian training down in Australia, a lot of her results kind of get lost in the shuffle, and it may be easy to forget about what she's doing, but she's still a sub 15 5,000 meter runner. She has the Canadian half marathon record. I'm really excited to see how that can translate into a 10,000 meter run for her, and really see where that goes.
Yeah, I feel like that'll definitely be. I think if we're gonna make a list of stories to watch for 2021, I think that will be something to watch definitely this spring. with her 5K times and her recent half marathon times, her sweet spot might be 10K right now.
All right. So with that being said, I'm going to reset the clock, and you have one more story for consideration of story of the year. So I will start my clock in 3, 2, 1, go.
My final candidate for story of the year is the Summer of Mo. And this is my favorite for story of the year. Mo Ahmed just had a crazy series of races at the Bowerman Inter Squad this year. I mean, I guess the place to begin would be that Canadian record, 5,000 meter record, 12:47.20, set at the second Bowerman Inter Squad meet in July. Huge PB for him. It's a Canadian record. It's a North American record. He ran that race. He dusted Lopez Lemong, who went sub 13 in that race, but he made Lopez Lemong look ordinary, which that's just crazy to do. At the time, it was the 10th fastest time ever overall. Obviously, Joshua Cheptegei ran the world record this year and bumped Mo down to 11th all-time fastest, but that's still pretty good. Another case for Mo this summer, he now has a sub 3:35 1500 to add to the mix. Also a big PB there. Never broken 3:40 before in a 1500 meter race, which is kind of odd to think about, but he ran 3:34 at one of the Bowerman Inter Squad meets. And I think, it just set him up really well to go with his medal last year in the 5K for medal set threat for 2021. I know there's a lot of big names in that 5K in Tokyo, but
all right, 10 seconds.
I think Mo Ahmed, he put his name up there. He's there. He's ready to go. He'll be in that pack in the finals.
All right, yeah, Summer of Mo, man, that was really cool. What was that? An elimination 2 mile, if I remember correctly.
Elimination 2K.
Elimination 2K. That was really, really cool to watch. That's probably on my candidate for one of my candidates for race of the year to watch. Just to watch how that unfolded. Man, that guy looks strong in every single race that he steps onto the track. He just looks really, really good. So I think you make a strong case there, but yeah, no, I don't understand why this guy is not getting more eyes on him, not getting more press coverage. He is doing what no other Canadian has done before, and not just that, but like he's got his eyes on like a world medal, in 2021, and that is just huge in such a hotly contested event. So I think you could be right there. That could be story of the year there.
Yeah, no, that 12:47, I think it surprised a lot of people, but I think it was coming down the pipe, especially after that bronze last summer, and then just stepping up and basically, I don't want to say he didn't have a world-class time before or a world-class medalist time before, but I think he kind of ran a time to go with his medal, and I think it was a big day for him to get that. Fastest runner in North America over 5K.
Yeah, no, that's a very true point, and that's definitely a strong contender there. I just have a few more honorable mentions as far as stories of the year go. Justin Knight, he set a new indoor 1500 meter record. National record in 3:36.13. That to me is impressive just because of who came before him. I mean, there's the Milnes and the Brennans and the Sullivans, even the CPTs. To kind of put yourself there in what is not even his main event. That's pretty cool to see. Tristan Woodfine's breakthrough in 2:10:51, nabbing an Olympic qualifier there too at the London Marathon. That was also pretty cool to see. And Matt Hughes, you mentioned Mohamed not breaking 3:40 before this, but Matt Hughes got a 3:37 in the 1500 for the first time, and that to me was pretty cool to see as well. Too. So those are my honorable mentions for the year as well. And kind of wrapping things up, after hearing all the arguments, which one are you standing by? What story do you think deserves story of the year?
Well, I definitely think I got to go with Summer of Mo. I don't think anybody could top that. I think that's the story of the year. And we'll be talking about that for a while.
Yeah, that's a fair point. While I do love the whole marathon project and the implications of that, as far as what it means for our rankings and all that sort of stuff, I really do think that the Summer of Mo was something that was really cool. We got to see a whole bunch of different variations and styles of perhaps a once in a lifetime sort of athlete. So yeah, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to concede this one to you. I think the hottest take of the year is that Mohamed had the story of the year here. I guess the trophy is in the mail, Mo. I guess we can say that, right?
Yeah, are you mailing the trophy, or am I?
Wait, did you ordered the trophy, right?
No, I didn't actually.
All right, so the trophy is not in the mail. However,
sorry, Mo.
Oh, maybe once this pandemic's over, we'll give you a hearty handshake. I didn't know. I got nothing.
We'll figure out something.
For sure. Well, thank you for tuning into the Terminal Mile Animated Edition. Once again, quick reminder, head over to our Instagram page at the Terminal Mile. Give us a follow there. Take a look at our unique trading cards. They've been getting a lot of traction. You have a chance to win a 3-pack of cards by following the contest rules there. So yeah, no, just go take a look at it. See all of our guests in Adobe Illustrator art form, and see all their PBs and stuff on the back as well too. Really cool products. Again, that's at the Terminal Mile if you can go check that out. That wraps up our takes on what the biggest story of 2020 in distance running in Canada is. And I think we can all agree it was Mohamed. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see. Maybe this was fun. Maybe we'll do another animated edition soon.